everyone. Welcome to the Keep Watching podcast. I'm Sarah, and I'm here with James. Today, we have a very special episode of the podcast. So, about 2 years ago, James, you convinced me to buy some tickets to a concert because you said you'd go with me and I was nervous. And finally, after all the dark times, we got to go. So now I need you to tell me, how was your first Monsta X concert experience?
You want to start with that? You just want to start with my opinions on the entire thing?
Yeah, I just want, your gut check, like, do you regret that decision?
No, it was a fun experience. Yeah, I'm excited to go through it and talk about all the little things that happened. Because I've never been to a concert of any kind in my life. I'm 32 years old. I've never been to a concert. So this was my literal first experience.
Yeah, I've never been to one of their concerts before, so it was a first on that front for me too. But and maybe probably not something quite as big as this either. But yeah, I was
I don't know.
Super excited about
Is this that big? I guess it is. I mean, it took place in a Radio City Music Hall in New York City, so that's pretty big. Capacity, we looked it up. Capacity 6,000, and it was sold out.
I guess I have been to bigger things, but it wasn't. Is the biggest in my heart. How about that?
Okay.
It meant the most.
It wasn't
to
a
me.
Sports stadium, which I know.
Right.
Yeah. Those.
Yeah, I haven't been in one of those either. Though.
Okay.
So, were you nervous about this heading in? I know you expressed some reservations about.
It's intimidating. We can get to, let's get to the just showing up, because so we showed up. We got dropped off by our Lyft at Radio City Music Hall, and we found like the VIP entrance because you got VIP tickets or like special, which was just like there were people waiting. There was like general ticket admissions were just like the line of people waiting, and we got to go in early. That was like the advantage basically. And we would go through we get to like the metal detector entrance. And you go through, and then when I go through, the metal detector guy says to me, he's like, "You're the only guy I've seen so far." Which I was like, I didn't think about, I saw a whole bunch of fans. I thought about it beforehand, and I was thinking it'd be like a 20-to-1 ratio, guys to girls, something like that. And then I saw a bunch of fans outside, and I saw a bunch of people. There were a lot of VIP people that got in early, and I did not notice it until this guy mentioned it. And I was like, oh yeah, like the girl to guy ratio was like more like 500-to-1 than it was 20-to-1, which is like pretty insane.
Did that make you self-conscious?
Yeah, at first I was like, oh wow. I expected heavily like a lot of girls, obviously, and then I expected to be younger, which did not end up being the case. It was there were plenty of people there older than us.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the average age was more like mid to high 20s than it was teens to early 20s, right. Which is what I expected.
Yeah, I think that lines up with what I expected because they're a band in their 7th year, so their fan base has aged over time,
Yeah, but there were easily women in their 40s there that were not there with their kids. I want to say they were just there for themselves.
Well, there is also a Monsta X Nuna culture where Nuna's the Korean word for a man would call an older woman who's like a sister or somebody's close. So there's a lot of Nuna fans.
Okay. Oh yeah, so we got in. As soon as I walked in, I immediately had it pointed out to me that I was the only guy, which is pretty well.
And you're pretty tall too, so even for a guy like
we'll get to that.
Stand out.
We'll get to that.
That's true.
Once the concert starts, I'll explain that situation.
So yeah, we head in, we stand in another line to get our fancy badges and wristbands. I think that was your first encounter with people just handing out random K-pop shit.
Oh yeah, that was weird at first because the first couple people that gave us stuff were they just gave us pictures of the members of the group.
Mm-hmm.
And you explained it was it must be their favorite. It was just one guy too, so it was just their favorite, and they were just handing out random pictures of them. So I was like, that's kind of weird. But then somebody came around and was gave us these cool keychains that they made. They made a shit ton of them personally, The keychains that also seemed like bracelets.
Well, you made yours
I
work
wore
as
it
a
like a
bracelet. That
bracelet,
was
but I
pretty
was like,
cute.
damn, this is actually like somebody spent a shit ton of time making each in an individual one of these, and I don't know how many they had, but they had at
It
least
seemed like
like
a
a
decent
hundred,
amount.
like
Yeah.
several hundred that they must have made by hand. It was pretty wild.
Yeah, and they have one of the members' names on it, and then the one you were wearing for a while said Monbebe, which is the fandom name for
Yeah,
Monsta X.
yeah. So that was pretty cool. Weird, but cool.
I had seen things on Twitter where people were like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be posted up on the corner outside. But like, come to me for your photo pics of this guy," or "I made these little banners. You can pick them up here."
Yeah. Is that normal for concerts, or is that just like a K-pop thing, or just a Monsta X thing?
That's definitely common for K-pop things. Um, maybe it exists outside of K-pop. My perspective on that isn't great. I'm very in this K-pop thing.
Yeah. There were a lot of VIPs at this. Like I was thinking, you know, 50, maybe
Oh
100
yeah,
VIP people, but it was hundreds. And like we had to like get in line for wristbands, and we had to like do this like snake thing that went down. Like we had to go down a flight of stairs to get in line to go back up the stairs. It was pretty wild how
yeah.
many people there were.
Yeah, I want to say it's like half of the floor seats almost like get are like paired up with the VIP tickets.
So it's probably like what, like 10-20% of the entire
Yeah,
thing.
that
Yeah.
sounds about right.
So you're talking like, yeah, easily a few hundred.
hmm So yeah, then we just hung around for a little while.
Yeah. Oh, well, we got the wristbands. Oh, the wristbands were like, there was like purple one. There were purple ones, blue ones, and I want to say there were white ones. Was that a thing?
Yeah, I think I heard about the white ones. I don't know what they were for. We got the purple ones because we were going for the high touch and the goodbye moment, but and the blue ones were just for the goodbye, like
Yeah.
waving at the guys
Which
while
we'll
they get
get
on the bus.
into
I
about what that means
yeah.
at the end. That was post
I'm not
concert
sure.
activities with the boys.
Yeah.
Okay. That was
I'm not sure if the white ones were more or less exclusive. I don't know if they got an extra perk or I have no idea what they were there
yeah.
for.
And then the person was very insistent on like the bands had to be on your right wrist, which never came up as to like somebody like, I guess it's easier just to like look at them if they know it's going to be on the right wrist, but
Yeah, I think it just made it
it
easier
didn't
for
seem
the staff.
necessary to me, but I was surprised because I already had some stuff on my right wrist, so I was like, I'll put it on my left, and she was like, no, can't do that.
Gotta conform in the K-pop
I
concert. I'm
guess.
sorry.
I guess.
So yeah, they let us in then like I think probably maybe half an hour before they were said they were gonna open the doors. Like we got some announcement that's like, okay, we're gonna open the doors and you can sit down, and then we're gonna let the normal people in. So
Oh wait.
get to your seats.
Oh wait, before this though, I had to use the bathroom because we were walking around the city. We were doing some
Oh
stuff in
yeah.
the city beforehand.
hmm
I had to use the
No
bathroom.
line for
And we
you.
so you go
So
down into like the lounge area of Radio City Music Hall, and that's where the
hmm
bathrooms are. I'd never been to Radio City Music Hall before. But then they had like the guys lounge and the girls lounge is like where the bathrooms were. And I went in the guys lounge, and there was like, it's a huge place. They had like 20 plus urinals in this bathroom, and I'm the only one in there. Which is like, how many people outside of like employees there you think have used the urinals at Radio City
when
Music
it's
Hall
that
during an event
empty.
and had been the only ones in the bathroom? That was pretty wild.
But yeah, you said there was like a bathroom attendant, right? Too. So there's just like one guy
Well,
hanging out while.
I don't think it was an attendant. I think it was just an employee who was like
Oh,
also using
okay.
the bathroom. But eventually there was a second person in there. But at first it was just me. But that was an experience.
But it was a nice fancy bathroom at least, right?
Yeah, it was really
I didn't.
cool. You didn't go in the women's?
No, I
Oh, you didn't go in.
didn't.
Okay, yeah, yeah. It was pretty. I mean, yeah, I'd say it was fancy. The fancy part was that you basically had to walk through like a sitting lounge with carpet. Like you go through the men's entrance and the women's entrance, and then but when you look
Mm-hmm.
through them, there's no doors, but you only see like a sitting area, and then
Mm-hmm.
you wrap around the turn, and then it becomes the bathroom. So
Mm-hmm.
instead of having like a door so you couldn't see the bathroom, it was just like they angled it off so you could only see where people were sitting inside the
Right.
lounge, and then the bathroom continued where you couldn't see from the main lobby.
But yeah, overall, I'd say theaters. It was a really fancy, nice place. I've never been in there before.
Yeah. It was. It's more. I feel like when I've seen it on like Netflix specials for like comedy or whatever, it's like really.
Hmm.
It's really impressive if you're like on the stage looking out
Yeah.
at the audience. But when you're looking from this audience in, it doesn't seem like that crazy of a stage. It, I mean, it's
Yeah.
still
The
big,
stage is
but
probably a little smaller. Yeah.
I think the architecture of the seating is like the craziest part of the event.
Oh, but like how it
Where it
has
has
a
like
bunch of
yeah, it has like
balconies
a
or
really long first level, and then it has three um second, third, fourth floor balconies that are like way in the back, and it's just like a
hmm.
cool looking arch.
So we get to our seats. And we just kind of hang out for a long time.
Yeah, I kept just like trolling you with the suspense of how many minutes countdown it was.
Well, I mean, that's fair. I've been spending days ahead of time telling people that I'm unraveling as a human because, I'm feeling too many feelings about this concert. So yes,
Oh
it
yeah.
was peak emotion time.
Is it? Would you say it's fair to say you're obsessed with Monsta X? Is that a too
I
strong of
mean,
a word?
yeah, I love them dearly. I think about them literally every day. I
Okay.
mean, yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, that's fair.
As soon as I walked in, I didn't say this when we were getting in line for the wristbands. I said to you, I was like, "Wow, this place is nothing but Sarah clones," which is
Yeah.
like it's not actually a fair representation, but there was like several people there with like their hair dyed in like a similar way, like to be like a
Hmm.
purple or like a pink color, and then it's actually incredible diversity of people.
Oh yeah,
Outside
that's
of being all women,
other
everything
than that
else was
one data
extremely
point.
diverse about everybody
Yeah.
there. But everybody
And yet
gave off
still, yeah, me vibes.
everybody gave off the Sarah vibe with their presence.
Yeah, we were amongst my people, I guess.
Yes, yeah, it was interesting.
So yeah, eventually time passed. It filled in it seemed like for a while like there were a lot of empty seats and people came last minute, and I don't know how people operate like that. I'm too anxious for that. But uh I know you had a lot of stress about who was going to fill in behind you.
Yeah, I kept checking. This is the thing. I'm 6'5", give or take, and I looked around at the like every I was the tallest person attending this concert, like
Yes.
by far, I think. And yeah, I kept wondering if even when I go to events that I really wanted to go to, I still feel self-conscious about standing up
Mhm.
and blocking people behind me. So I was like checking like because the seat behind us just kept staying open and open, open, open,
Mhm.
and it ended up like nobody actually sat there, which was pretty wild. Once the concert started, I could tell the girl behind you
Mhm.
was really short, and
Oh
she
no.
couldn't even see over you.
Oh.
And then I was just like, I can't be the one standing and blocking people's view. So I like did a like I didn't sit all the way down, but I put like the spring loaded seat. I just like kept it pointed up, and I essentially like sat on the like this like the armrest.
Yeah.
So I was about the height of like the person to my left. So we were like equally couldn't see, you know.
Right.
Yeah, you really can't. The ground level of Radio City Music Hall isn't like stadium seating, so
Yeah,
it's
I agree.
not made. It's not made for people to stand and watch.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a concert, so what are you gonna do?
Yeah. And
So
they had screens on the side that you could sort of see what's going on.
yeah, I didn't mind watching most of it from the screen. We were in row QQ, which is like the 16th row from the stage,
Mhm.
and yeah, you could definitely see better. Like I felt like you could see more, even if I had a plain view of it, you could like see them better if you just watched
Right.
they had like five cameras that would be on each member, and then they would switch to like whoever was singing in that moment or whatever the production was, so you could like see them individually by looking at the screen and which one was like the one you were supposed to be looking at. So it was kind of easier to watch the screen.
Yeah, I could not exist in that concert and look at who I'm supposed to look at. Like I have to look at my favorite boy the whole time. I could not draw myself away from him. And the person in front of me was even like kind of like, I'm kind of tall for a lady, I guess. But she was taller than me, and I just had to keep dodging and weaving back and forth to, make sure Min was in my eyesight.
Our seats were also like, they were the center section, and we were like in the middle of the center section, which you would think is like, oh, this is like the best seats. But because everybody was standing, it was like, because we're directly in the middle, everybody that was standing in front of you was blocking the center of the stage.
Right. If it was like a side angle.
Yeah. So even at my best angle, I could only see like the two boys to the left. If they were standing like 5 in a row, I could only see the two boys to like the left at any given time. I could never see the person in the middle. But like literally everybody must have been having that problem. But I guess like, I don't know if the ideal seat might have been like the middle section, but on the ends. And then you could.
Yeah.
Or actually, if you were the section over from the middle, and then you were like the seat on the aisle, you would have like the entire aisle. Yeah, that actually would have been ideal. But I bet those people had the best tickets.
Let's be honest. No. The best tickets were in the very, very front.
Oh, well, yeah.
In where you're just on the stage, basically.
It was they had like an orchestra pit. But they opened it up for seat. They had like folding chairs for like, I'm sure those were like the most expensive tickets.
If I could have bought them, I would have. Ticketmaster did not offer them up to me.
Yeah, that would have been a whole different experience. If we had
would you have
tickets.
Gone if I picked those tickets?
I would have gone. Why not?
Okay, I didn't know if it was too much pressure because like
it might have been pricey though.
You've heard their music before, but you
I listen to I have listened to K-pop music and listened to Monsta X music, but I'm not a heavy music listener in general, so there isn't anything that I'm like crazy about when it comes to music.
But you're good at getting hyped when other people are hyped.
Oh yeah.
That makes you the best person to take anywhere.
That's my move. Yeah, if you show me you're excited about something, I'll be in.
Yeah, you definitely enhanced
at least once, at least.
So thank you.
At least once, I would say.
So yeah, first thing that happened then. This is the opening bit of the concert. They start to play what we call in the K-pop biz a VCR, which is just a video. It's a pre-recorded video, and it was super dramatic. I think. I'm trying to remember. It all is going to blur together for me a lot, but I think it was like the super dramatic Avengers style opening of like, oh, look at these cool guys in their cool motorcycle jackets.
Yeah, they definitely did that in the middle of the concert.
Was it in the middle?
Yeah. I mean, they're all kind of Avengers style. Like, these are the members of the team, and they each get their video of their photo shoot, like, put into the... Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like the lights went down and my brain shut off for a minute. So I was so pumped.
It got hella loud. Oh, you brought you were wearing earplugs.
Earplugs, yes, because I'm a responsible old person. Yes.
Yeah, you brought them for me. I am not good with putting buds in my ear, so I tried them and I was like, it's too weird for me. And then after the initial loudness, I mean, it was freaking loud the whole time. Outside of like the people right behind me occasionally like screaming very, very loud, I didn't think it was too bad without earbuds. So yeah, I just didn't use them.
So yeah, then I don't know, what were you thinking in these opening moments? Were you
the best part of that,
any point at which you were like instantly regretting
so they came out and they just started doing their songs right away, which is what I expected. This is like, I thought, I've never been to a concert before, but I just assumed like, we're going to do songs after songs. And the second song they played was, I think this song, if you've never listened to Monsta X, this is the one you might have heard. I'm not, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but Drama Rama.
That's one of their popular ones. So yeah, there's an easy chance.
One of their like, and it's not recent, it's one of their older, most popular ones.
Yeah, it's a little older, a few years ago.
Yeah. I feel like I might have heard this in a commercial or this song was on an episode of a show that we also might talk about on this podcast called
Oh,
Chad,
right.
which is
Yes.
an American show. There's an episode where Chad gets obsessed with K-pop because he sees the video for Dramarama in that show. So I actually
Hey,
saw this
it's a real good video. It makes sense.
yeah. But this is the biggest, you know, reaction I saw you have when they started playing Dramarama. You just had like giddy schoolgirl hands for like a second. Like as soon as it started, you just like brought your hands up to your chest and like
I
like
was
like
It is
flinched
one
a
of my
little
favorite
bit.
songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't expect
You know what?
necessarily that they'd play it because it's an older one and like because the dark times have happened. They have released literally 9 albums since the last time they toured, so I didn't think there was any room for any older content.
Yeah. Did you even know you did that though? It looked like it was like a self-conscious response.
I did it and then I realized what I was doing and then I immediately pictured a gif of this little girl that like is shaking her hands and screaming that I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I look like that
That's
right
what you
now.
looked like without the screaming. Yeah. That is exactly what you
Well,
looked
I
like.
had a mask on, so you couldn't tell if I was screaming or
Yeah,
not.
that's true. I just guessed
I
you were.
wasn't though.
Yeah.
I'm awkwardly silent at concerts. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah, you saw a lot of different like I feel like everybody there had like I don't know, 90% of them seemed like they had like an obsessive level of interest in Monsta X, obviously. But
uh-huh.
there was like 2 girls in front of me who like kept changing where they were standing. But one of
Mhm.
them would like stand like a statue. And I just assumed she was having her own like inner experience of what was happening.
Uh-huh.
And then the other girl
Yeah.
was like very much into like dancing and like singing along with the
Uh-huh.
songs. And they were like there together and it was like it was interesting to see the totally
A
different
microcosm
totally different
of both ends.
handlings of the entire experience.
Yeah. I'm of the opinion that I can listen to myself sing these songs anytime I want to listen to the voice. So yeah, I'm more on the stand still and have my own inner like conflict
Yeah,
about
yeah,
what's
yeah.
happening.
Yeah. That was funny.
But yeah, for the first song that they came out, like they kind of all walked out from the middle screen of the stage parted, then they walked out and it was kind of dimly lit and then the lights went down a little bit more, but I saw that Min turned around and I was like, "Oh, this is the formation for that song." So that's the level that we're working with for me, where I'm like,
Oh
I know
damn.
what song's coming because they're standing in this configuration.
Wow, I didn't know. I don't think you told me that yet. That's nuts.
Well, it's a more recent song too, and so there's been a lot of performance videos of that I've been able to watch. But
Gotcha.
so yeah, I think they did like 3 songs, which were all bangers because all of their songs are amazing. And then they had a little break where they were starting to talk because can't dance for 2 hours to their songs because it's too intense. They need a little break, and I don't think you were expecting them to talk quite as much through this concert as they ended up doing.
Yeah, I didn't realize that there would be talking segments. But between the talking segments and the like slower songs, uh
Hmm.
it made sense to me after a while where because I'm a pro wrestling fan and it's a
Yeah.
similar thing in like wrestling matches where they'll often be a segment of the match where there's like grappling on the mat and like trying to make each other submit and they're like pretending like they're about to tap out and stuff. And really
Hmm.
what these segments are in wrestling is like it's just time for the wrestlers to rest in the middle of the match. Like if it's going to be a
Yeah.
20-minute match, they need to have like a resting point in the
Hmm.
match. So that's what this is. That's what I think this is. I think the talking segments are actually more like this is what the fans want to see. And then the slower songs, they kind of don't dance as much to them. So this is their chance to really rest is during the
Yeah.
slow songs.
Yeah. K-pop has this culture of like fans feeling close to the group. There's a lot of that parasocial relationship situation going on. So like all the talking things are like really important to the fans.
Yeah. At first I thought the talking segments were a little like shamelessly like self-promoting. Like we're gonna talk about Jew Honey, one of the members
Oh.
who
Uh-huh.
I knew nothing about these. I knew some of their names because you told me about them, but I didn't put it to memory or Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this guy Ju Hun, aka Ju Honey, in the beginning was like when it was his time to talk in one of the opening talk segments, like his
Hmm.
bit was just like yelling at the crowd like, "What's my name?" And then everybody yelled like Ju Honey or something. It was very silly.
No, I think
Um,
everybody said, like, he said, "What's my name?" And everybody was like, Juhan. And he's like, no.
oh, okay, that's what it was. I was like,
Yeah.
what is happening right now? What's my
He's like,
name?
it's Jew Honey because I'm your honey because he's
Yeah.
adorable.
It was like, yeah, it was like a very like silly wrestling bit that he was like pulling
Yeah.
up, like pro wrestlers style. Like I don't know I didn't know what to think of it at first because it was like really early, and then another of the
Hmm.
early talk segments. I think this is after they did like their next two songs. I'm kind of jumping ahead, but they did like two more songs, and then you had told me like as when we were driving over there that like they've more recently been writing more of their own music,
Hmm.
and they played two songs that some of their members wrote, and then when they went back to the talking segment, they were like, "Oh, we just played this song. Who wrote that song?" And then who did it? And they did this whole like, yeah, it the first two talking segments felt like kind of like same shameless self promotion until I kind of like got it as I did more and more talking segments. I like got the dynamic better,
Right.
and it's more of like they're just trying to like they like support each other and give each other
Right.
credit for their accomplishments is kind of what they're doing. It's
Yeah. And
even
they're,
though
they're
they're all
like
one
super
group, it's like
proud of
they're
them.
also individuals that are like, yeah,
Yeah.
legitimately supportive of each other, which is like, okay, I get it.
Yeah. They are a very sweet group in that regard.
Yeah,
They,
I kind of got what their vibe after a while.
oh, but one important thing during the first three songs that I forgot to mention is that, Hyungwon's shirt was just full open, just like completely open, and it was abs for days. Now, I could not pull away from Min for most of the time, but at one point, the girl in front of me got in the way, and I had to look at the screen, and the screen was showing him, and I was just like, that's a lot of abs that I didn't expect to see.
That's weird. I did not notice this guy's abs until he did. Where there's later in the concert they did like solo acts. Each one of them did like one
Ooh,
solo song, and he wore like a see-through shirt, and then I noticed it.
this
I
is
didn't.
not that guy.
Oh, it's not. Oh, okay.
This
I
is
did
the
not
tall
notice
guy who did the
this like
first solo stuff.
I did not witness this like road wardrobe malfunction thing that you're talking about in the beginning.
Yeah, no, it was like completely unbuttoned, and then like during their first talking bit, they're like, Hyungwon will be back in a second. He needs to get fixed up. But when he came back, it was like
Oh.
buttoned up to like only show half his chest instead
Oh,
of
that whole thing
everything.
went over my head. I didn't understand. I didn't even notice that he left actually.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm constantly, I don't know, counting members, I guess, and
Yeah.
making sure
I
I
could
know where
never
they
see
all
all of
are.
them, so I always just assumed, oh, I just
Oh
can't
yeah,
see the
that's fair.
person.
But yeah, so it was a good opening, is the point. Even if I only saw him for the 10 seconds, I could peel my eyes away from Min.
Yeah.
It was good.
Oh, the other best part about these talking segments was that the one member of the group is like really good at English. So
Yeah.
he was full blown English, I think, most of the time. Everybody else
Hmm.
like knew English phrases to say, but then if they really wanted to like get emotional with the crowd or whatever, they would switch to Korean.
Hmm.
And then they had like a I didn't it literally took me halfway through the concert to realize that when they were getting like a translation done, it was
Yeah.
like somebody talking over the speakers. I thought it was like the one member of the group that could speak English was like translating. So there this whole time there was like yeah, like a voice comm person who was translating after they talked, and they were
Hmm.
referring to them. They said this earlier, but I still didn't figure it out. They were referring to the guy coming over the speakers as Optimus Prime because they thought he
Yes.
sounded like Optimus Prime, but he didn't sound anything like Optimus Prime.
It was just like a big
It was just
dramatic
like,
robot voice or something,
yeah,
I
his
guess.
voice was just very like generic and monotone. It was like I couldn't tell if like they always have the same
Translator?
translator guy. I want to say they don't. Yeah,
Well,
you'll find
in
out.
past shows, I have seen them, like there was a reoccurring translator before, and this was not that guy.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Maybe the guy they normally use or have used in some of their other shows that I've seen videos of was busy. I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna see them next week in Chicago because I needed to. And I'll let you know if Optimus Prime is there or if it's a different translator.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what percentage of their talking segments is like scripted and which percentage is like kind of improv-y.
And it might even start off as improv-y and then they find a bit that they like and they just bring it up again.
Yeah, it
Like,
could be. If they do Optimus Prime bit again, that'll feel a little cheap. But
okay.
but maybe I don't know. Maybe it's the same narrator. I feel
Yeah,
I feel like
it's the
somebody
same
should tell
guy,
them that
then
this guy sounds nothing like Optimus Prime, and you should not say that he sounds like
maybe,
Optimus Prime again.
you know what? Maybe like
Find
the
another
Korean
reference.
dub of Transformers, he sounds exactly like that. Maybe that's
Oh,
what's
I
happening.
guess that'd be hard to. Your
Hard to
English
verify.
voice sounds like the Korean dub of. That's weird. I think that it could have been that the audio they're hearing from the stage is different than what we're hearing. So maybe it
That's
sounded
also
more
true.
gargled
Yeah.
or whatever Optimus Prime sounds
Mhm.
like.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair.
Yeah. I don't think there's like a famous character that this narrator sounded like. It was very generic. There was
I mean, he had an Australian accent, I think.
Oh, was
So
it? Oh, okay.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Just generic Australian man.
Yeah.
But I think they were more referring to the dramaticness of just the disembodied voice that translates for them, I guess.
Yeah. I understood it. It was still funny, even though it was wrong. They were not correct about what the sound did not. It did not sound like him.
So yeah, after that, I think they went into the only English songs they did all night because they have two full English albums that came out within the time since the dark times, and I was actually worried they were going to do a lot more English songs than Korean songs, just because they've been released a little bit more recently and they hadn't gotten to perform them, and an American tour, so use the English songs. But they limited to only three, so I was happy because I actually like all their Korean songs better than their American songs.
Is this a segment with Play It Cool?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That was my favorite song.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I think.
That is also an older one and actually isn't from the English albums. It's just there's an English version of it that they performed.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I like that song.
I don't think it was like the song I heard the most, but I had heard it enough that I was familiar with it, and then I just like it better than some of their other stuff.
That's fair.
But this was like the intermit. This I think Play It Cool is like right before the intermission, or what you would call the intermission, I guess.
Wait,
Wasn't
what would
that
you
long.
call the intermission?
It was they went to like another VCR or like video thing after this,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think. But what happened at the end of Play It Cool was they like blasted they blasted like a load of confetti streamers all over the audience.
Well, like earlier they had done confetti, and this time it was streamers,
Yeah.
and I got hit full on in the face with some streamers.
We're like 16 row back, so we got hit by this. I couldn't help but laugh of the sexualness of it was just so ridiculous.
I mean, that's fair. Most of their songs are about fucking. Like, that's their jam.
Yeah, that was so funny. Yeah, and then they gave a chance for everybody to gather themselves after that because they went to a video package.
Well, I needed it because I was literally tangled up in the streamers that hit me in the face.
Oh man, that was wild.
Yeah, it was pretty great.
Oh man.
Yeah, so then they did a VCR that was about kind of their history as a band, sort of. And they did a lot of interview sort of segments with where the guys would talk one-on-one with like how they haven't always charted so well, and it took them a long time to get a win in the Korean music show scene, and how that can be really disheartening, and they just tried to like refocus and just like, as long as we're making music that we like and the fans like, it's fine. And that was kind of a sweet and sad moment. But I think then it turned into maybe that was the Avengers video time.
I don't know if it was now or later, but yeah, I don't have a lot of notes on this segment, but it was cool to hear it was cool to hear like the history, and get
Yeah.
a bigger picture of what the group is all about.
Hmm.
Yeah, it is kind of follow. It's like I equate it to like kind of like following your like favorite wrestler over their careers, but if like the entire
Yeah.
group was one wrestler or something. Yeah, I'd also equate this experience to like imagine going to like a sporting event
Hmm.
where your team was guaranteed to just win by a lot. And it was like the biggest game of the season. Like that's what this
Yeah.
felt like. You like your team couldn't lose. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
Like
Everybody who was there was like fans of the home team
yeah,
and they were going to win.
yeah, exactly. Like like everything these boys said in their talking segments was like got cheers, no matter how much sense it made or, or didn't make.
Yeah. Yeah.
I,
A hundred
I think they
percent. Like they
butchered.
could say anything and
Yeah,
we wouldn't care.
between them and the translator a couple of times, like I don't think they nailed every segment.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know that the translator was like super accurate, and I don't know, that was kind of a bummer, but
yeah,
because there's like I'm learning a little bit of Korean, and so like they would say words that I'd know and then that would be nowhere in the translation, which very well might be just I don't know enough Korean, but it didn't always feel like they would talk for a while and he'd be like, "Yes, we're
yeah,
happy to be here." It's like, okay.
yeah. He get the gist of it. I thought the translator was pretty good. I mean, it got me the general idea. There was a
Yeah.
couple of times where like it felt like the boys were trying to like either like make a joke or like set up a bit where like the one guy said, "Oh, like this might be later in the concert," but they were like, "We're looking forward to seeing you soon," as if like they were gonna have another concert in New York soon. But then
Hmm.
the next guy went and he was like, he actually lied. Like the translator said, like, "Oh, he actually lied because we won't be seeing you soon." And then it sounded like it was supposed to turn like he was going to be like but something something or like turn it around into a bit, and then the translator
Hmm.
never was able to like fully grasp the concept of whatever he was going for.
I think what was happening then is that was Kihun, and he was saying, "Last time we were here, we told you we'd see you soon, but it turned out we were lying
Oh,
because, the dark times happened."
I heard it as like the previous boy lied to you, and then there was no additional follow up, so it just sounded like it's like he lied and that's it. He just lied to you.
I mean, sometimes they do throw each other under the bus for comedic effect. Like earlier, Juhan was like, "Hey, I know you guys like making eye contact with us, and I'm making eye contact with every one of you. Don't listen to the other guys when they say they do it because they won't."
Yeah,
It was
yeah. Them talking about like eye contact or looking into the eyes of the audience or whatever, that was like a little too far. Like I don't think any level of obsessiveness would make me believe that this is like they're really looking into my personal eyes, you know. I
the
thought it was
whole
like too
like,
it was like too cheesy. It went too
oh
far for
yeah,
me.
that is part of the like K-pop fandom band connection culture where like they say a bunch of cheesy shit and you pretend to believe it because it's cute. Like that's what it
You
is.
pretend to believe it? I mean, you might be pretending to believe it, but I don't know if everybody there was.
Ah, that's fair.
They were eating that shit up. It was pretty wild.
I mean that's what everybody shows up for, right? Like
Yeah,
just
I mean, I get it. I
the vibe.
that I it's something that I expected, but I was able to like understand how you could really be into this, except for that. Like I could never be to the level of like really thinking that these boys are into like singling me out or whatever they were going
Oh
for
yeah, yeah, yeah.
in the segments.
I would hope that like most fans are in on the
You would
joke.
hope,
Like
yes. Yeah, yeah.
especially sometimes they'll like say a cheesy thing and then the rest of the boys will make fun of that one for being too cheesy.
That's what
Like
should
it's an
happen.
ongoing bit.
That
Oh
that
yeah.
that is funny. I do think they should make fun of each other after they do these things, even if
Oh,
they
there
have to
was
do them.
there is a video from an old concert where I forget who's saying the cheesy thing or what the cheesy thing was, but somebody's saying it, and then Chang Kyun is off stage just like pretend vomiting, like
Oh, okay. See, that's
to
good.
be
That's
like, oh,
yeah.
oh my gosh.
They had a few like comedy bits in some of their talking segments, which I was like, this is actually good. Like at one point, Jew Honey was like, saying something in Korean, and then when the Optimus Prime was talking, he was like mouthing his mouth as if he was talking
Yes.
through as Optimus Prime. Yeah, like Juhani was on fire in this concert, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah. Oh, and then like I think actually during the VCR that we were just talking about with the interview stuff, like the side screens on the stage, not the main like everybody can see screens, but the on the stage screens were not working properly. Like either they weren't supposed to be on or they were supposed to be better quality because you couldn't read the subtitles on them. And then the next time they came out to talk about it, Minhyuk, my favorite boy, was just like, I'm sorry, that wasn't supposed to happen. I'm very angry. And then like he went over and fake kicked the side screen just to show how, upset he was about everything.
There's still a small percent chance this is just
you
a
don't
bit.
believe it?
I don't know. They were way too over apologetic for something that I barely noticed. Like I did notice that like you couldn't really read the text on those screens, which I don't know why anybody would be looking at those screens. It was such a small detail that I don't think
super seriously though.
Yeah, they did not have to apologize for that, but they apologized there, and then another one of them apologized for technical difficulties when I don't know, the whole production was pretty spot on, honestly.
Yeah, they're just like perfectionists with their show, so they get mad about these things.
Yeah, but they made it into a funny bit, which was good on the spot thinking. Unless you go to Chicago and they do the same bit again, which will be hilarious.
If they do the same bit again, it's fine. I get to watch Min pretend to kick a screen. Like, I'm here for it.
Yeah, it's still funny, even if it's a bit, but
yeah. So during this VCR that we were talking about, they kept saying like things like, "Oh, we're gonna find you," or "We've been apart for a long time, but we're gonna find you," and they kept saying "find you" over and over again, and that's when I knew that they were gonna like try to make me cry, because they were about to play the saddest song that they have, and I was kind of annoyed that they played it.
Oh, really? Did you cry? I didn't notice.
I didn't cry, but like it's just this song came out on the last album that so they used to be 7 members. We'll start with that. And some stuff happened and one of the members had to leave the band. And it was a bummer, and this album came out like 3 days before that happened. And it's a sad song anyway about like missing someone you love and trying to find them again. And so like within the fandom, it is equated to that event. And it just, I don't know. I love all of their songs ridiculously. I can't be objective about them at all. I love their dumb Pepsi songs even. But this is like the closest it gets to a song I don't like just because it makes me feel sad.
Yeah.
But it was a pretty lovely performance, so, I mean, I can't be too upset.
I could not tell that it was a sad song.
Well, it's in Korean, so it's fair.
It was a slow song, which I was like, oh, I guess they're resting now. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
I mean, some of their songs are definitely catchy, and they're definitely bangers. Like, even some of their Korean stuff where you don't know what they're saying, like, they're just so catchy that they're good.
Right.
But none of their slow songs felt like they should be in a concert to me. But they all have like deeper meaning that I don't understand.
Yeah, and like every single one of the like slower songs, like the crowd was like singing along to it. So like when you're like plugged into this like subculture of being a fan of this band, like it works in a concert. Whereas like, yeah, if you're not into the band, like I get that wouldn't necessarily be as appealing.
Yeah. We didn't get to the solos yet.
Yeah, that is what is about to happen, and it was the best part of the concert, I think. Maybe. Yes. So they did a bunch of solo stages, which is the first time they've ever done that. Normally they'll do unit stages where it's like 2 or 3 of the guys will get together and they'll do a dance to a song, or they'll do a cover of a song, or both together. And this is the first time they've ever done solo stages. So there are 5 members right now because there used to be 7, 1 left, and now 1 is in the military. So we got 5 individual stages, and I thought they were amazing. And they actually gave me an excuse to look at members who were not Minhyuk because he wasn't on the stage, so I had to.
Yeah, this was pretty cool. Like the fact that this is the first time. This is the first stop on their. This is called the No Limit tour, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is their first stop. New York City was the first stop on the No Limit tour.
So I had no idea what they were going to be necessarily.
Oh yeah. So literally nobody has seen these solo performances until tonight, which was pretty cool.
Right. Hmm.
I don't know how often on their tours they set up these like first time ever moments. Like maybe every tour kind of has these first time ever moments, but since we were the first
Well,
stop, like we were literally the first
yeah.
one seeing this. So I thought even not fully knowing how to appreciate it, I was like, wow, that's pretty cool actually.
Yeah. On the other tours, all of the unit performances are new. And so the first tour stop is always like, ooh, here's this never before seen thing. But just the fact that they've never really done solo stuff before. And part of that's because like it's common in K-pop for you to have a group of members and they'll release solo albums and they'll still maintain as a group. But Monsta X has always been really, really busy. And so they haven't done a lot of solo stuff until like recent years. So Juhan's released a couple mixtapes actually, but like a big one a year or two ago. Kihun released a solo album within the like about a year ago, and Kihun released a solo album a couple months ago. So I kind of knew they were gonna pick from that crowd of stuff, and then the other two boys were a complete who knows what's about to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty cool setup. I did not think much of 3 out of the 5.
Okay.
Other than that, one of them had a see-through shirt that like you could see how ripped he was.
Okay, well we'll go
But
through these.
you want to go through them one by one? Okay, here we go. Here we
I
go.
do. I desperately do.
I have
Okay, so
nothing to
first
say
is-
about like 2 of them, but let's do it.
Okay, well, I'd like to hear your nothing to say about
Okay,
them.
here we go.
Like, so first was Hyungwon, who is he's the taller guy with the face that you kind of don't understand what you're looking at sometimes, even though he's like
Yeah,
ridiculously attractive.
He's got a
You're just
unique
like, what?
face. But I'll say about this guy is that to me, you had your earplugs in, so maybe you didn't get the full effect. To me, he got whenever his like face came on like a video package or even when the video just like cut to him during the middle of the song, like I think he got the biggest pop in terms of like people just being excited to see his face. Like
I didn't notice that, and I think
and
that
the
maybe
girl-
like the people right behind you were really
maybe
pumped
yeah.
for him.
The girl behind me that had to move over to look over me after I sat down, she was like a few times when his like face came on the video package or whatever, she was like, he's so beautiful. Or something.
I mean, she's not wrong.
Yeah. She was all about him. I want to say just the crowd noise in general was the biggest for his. It was less
Yeah.
like his performance and just like his face when they had packages, I
Yeah.
think. And to me, he's like the weirdest looking out of all of them, but hey, to each his own.
There is something unique about him.
He is unique, I'll say that.
I still haven't figured it out after, however many years it's been, but like, I mean, it's a good face, but there's just something about it that makes you go, what?
Yeah. Because there's two of them that I told you afterwards, like I could not tell you which one was which. There was the one guy that was good at English, and then there was another guy. I could not tell the difference until he was speaking English. And then
Right.
Your guy had like pink hair for the concert, so I was able to keep him in check. But I think if he had his natural hair color, I might have also gotten lost between the other two.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
But yeah, in terms of like who got the most, like the loudest response, I feel like whenever Juhan was doing something, like that's when I thought the crowd was the loudest.
Juhani. Yeah.
Yeah.
Juhani, I would say he got the second biggest pop when it was just like, oh, here's a video montage of this guy, I think he got the biggest pop like when he was performing. Deservedly so. Juhani, I think, I would say we can get, I guess we'll get to this in the solo acts, but I would say he's like the Justin Timberlake of this band. Like this guy can do whatever he wants and he'd be good at it.
Yeah, he's pretty incredible. And I told you before the concert that I thought if there was anybody you were going to come away with being like, oh yeah, I'm impressed with that guy, that it was going to be him.
Yeah. No, he was definitely impressive.
So the first solo stage is Hyungwon with the unique face. And he's one of the members who's been composing songs. So he took a group song and just did a solo performance of it. And it's one that he wrote. And he's also like the lead dancer. So it was more of a dance heavy performance. And I thought it was gorgeous.
Okay. I didn't know he was the lead.
Any impression on you?
Yeah, I didn't know if he was the lead dancer. I did. They did talk about, they did like a little comedy sketch with the three of them, with three of the five, while the first two like got ready for their solo acts. And they did set up his as like the dancing is going to be really good. But I didn't realize that was like he was the best dancer.
Well, okay, so here's where we got to get into weird K-pop terminology. There are positions in a band and in a group, and there'll be a main dancer who is the best dancer, and then there's a lead dancer who's like the second best dancer, and then everybody else is a sub dancer.
Shit.
But the main dancer is Shonu, who's in the military right now, so he's sort of de facto the main dancer now, I guess you could say.
So he's the best dancer that we saw.
Yeah, I mean, but they're all like incredible, so it's like.
So they might have
a little bit of distinction.
Okay. They might not have highlighted his dancing if the sixth member was there in the comedy sketch. They might
I think they still would have, because like he is incredible at dancing. Like,
but then what are they gonna do for the other guy's solo act? They're gonna be like even better dancing.
There can be more dancing.
There can, but I feel like you can only hype up the dancing of one of them.
No,
they only set up.
Love all the members.
Yeah, they only set up the first solo act, and then they just banged them out 5 in a row without continuously setting up. But they had to give the first two like a chance to get ready.
Right.
Oh yeah, they did a bit in the comedy act before the solos where like they had just sung a song where they made like confetti snow come from the stage, and they did a bit where like one of them was like, I didn't know that confetti was going to come out of the stage, and then the other one was like playfully like getting all the confetti out of his hair.
Yes.
And I'm very curious to see if this is a bit or not. I feel like it's a bit.
I feel like if it's a bit rooted in truth, because the person who was like, I didn't know there was going to be confetti was Juhani. And the person who was getting the confetti out of his hair was Minhyuk. And Minhyuk loves Juhani more than anybody loves anybody. Just like, I don't know. He's his favorite person. So he was just like being really caring and like taking all the confetti out of his hair in a cute way. Meanwhile, ignoring his own hair and ignoring the other member who was on stage's hair as well. He's just like, I'm taking care of Juhan. Like, this is what I'm doing right now. And it was adorable. I appreciated it.
Yeah. The taking confetti out of his hair is definitely part of the bit. I don't know. I'm curious to find out if him pretending or not pretending, if he knew that it was going to happen as part of the bit.
I will find out.
I'm for sure think you're going to see him take the stuff out of his hair again, because that seems, the way you explained it, it's like ingrained in the culture of the fandom that these two are like have a thing together. But yeah, I find it hard to believe that he didn't know that it was about to snow confetti on him.
I don't know, you know.
It was a good that was my favorite comedy sketch of the entire
oh yeah, it was quite good.
Yeah.
But yeah, by the end of the evening, when we had to watch all those poor staff members clean up all the confetti, like they clearly did not do confetti in dress rehearsal, because that would have been too much work to have to clean all that up twice. So I'll believe him for now that he didn't know.
Yeah, it looked unnecessarily difficult to clean up the confetti they were doing, but I guess take some time. Yeah, we got to see like a hell of a ton of the cleanup of the stage, because we ended up like waiting around for like nearly an hour afterwards for like waiting for the members to get ready. We'll get into that later. I won't jump ahead. Yeah.
So after Hyungwon's dance heavy performance, it was Chang Hyun's turn, and he came out and did the beginning of the title track from his solo release, and then part of another song on that release. And I thought it was great. This is the one with the mesh shirt. If you need to be.
The only thing I have to say is that this guy wore a see-through shirt, and that you could see how like ripped he was. He's still like a small dude, but he just was so toned. Like it looks like he must barely eat anything or something, and just work out a ton.
Yeah, he is. He's been
No body fat.
He's
on
not
this
always
guy.
been this way, like, but like in recent years, he has
Yeah.
dedicated himself to the gym like crazy.
Yeah.
And then after him was Minhyuk, my favorite boy ever. And oh, before each solo stage, they all had their own solo like VCR moment that was like supposed to pump you up before for the performance.
Yeah.
And I had no idea what to expect from Min because he's not done a solo release. Like he's done some solo covers on YouTube before, but like that's about it. And so his video was like black and white with like pops of red and like it had this really like kind of rock sort of music under it, and it seemed like it was going to be like really intense in a like, I don't know. It did not seem like the vibe I expected from him. And then at the end of this video, there's a poster on the wall of him in this yellow suit, which is from a particular, like he made a music video with Juhan a few years ago. Juhan wrote him a song and they got drunk in Hong Kong one night and like shot a music video in the streets for fun. And it's at this point that I like turned to you and tried to convey to you how excited I was because this was the best thing that was about to happen. And I don't know if that came through.
No, I did not know what. I knew you were excited. I did not know why, of course.
Well, yeah, that's fair. But yeah. What did you think of
This
Ong Shimmy?
Ong Shimmy, yeah.
Yeah.
What you said, it was the most unique song in the entire concert. Like it was, I feel like this song is something that is like what you would think K-pop is if you've never listened to it before. Like,
it is in fact not K-pop. It is
not.
a thing called trot.
Trot,
which
okay.
is a style of music that is its height of popularity is bygone, from bygone days. So like it's very popular with older Koreans.
Yeah.
It's got some traditional stuff in it, and it's not what you expect from a K-pop artist at all. It's very upbeat, it's lively, and yeah, he was wearing a bright yellow suit.
Yeah.
There was crazy stuff on the screen the whole time. It was amazing.
Yeah, bright colors and like over the top, little like flamboyant-y almost, I guess.
Yeah.
But I liked it because it was so unique. It was like this was the first solo act that I liked.
Okay. Yeah.
Or I thought was worth like thinking about. I mean, they're all good. They're all good, obviously, right. But like, I thought this was unique and interesting.
Yeah. It was I think for me is probably the best part of the whole concert, just because I love him and I love this song and he looked so happy performing it and it was amazing. So the next stage was Kihun's solo stage, and I kind of knew what to expect from him because like about 2 months ago he released his first solo album, but I expected him to do the title song Voyager, which is like total bop, but instead he did another song from that album called Rain, which I think you would have enjoyed Voyager more than you seem to enjoy Rain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is one I didn't have much to say about or anything to say about really. But he did, we'll get into like the talk after the solos, and he was like, yeah, I know you want to talk about this, like how he was like wanted to sing some of the other songs even though he didn't get to, and Voyager was one of those.
Yeah, and he is like an incredible singer. He's like anytime anyone makes a list of like the best singers in all of K-pop, like he's on it because he's just like incredible. And he likes to show that off whenever he can. But yeah, this was more of a low-key song, and there was some dramatic curtains that dropped behind him, and he was standing up on some raised stairs, and it was very pretty. But I guess not your jam, probably.
Yeah. I don't remember the curtains.
I remember the curtains because the middle one hit the bottom, like the platform he was standing on, and some like stagehand had to run out and like unfurl it.
Oh, wow. Him. I missed all that. Damn.
It was only slightly dramatic. And then the last stage was Juhan, or Juhoney.
Juhoney.
Juhoney 100. And he came out with some he started with Smokey from his mixtape that dropped like, I don't know, time has no meaning to me anymore, like a year and a half, 2 years ago, something like that. Which is like a really emotional, powerful song. And then he switched to an absolute banger that we had never heard before. It's a new song that I think is called Voices. And I thought it was amazing.
Yeah. So the first song was he had like a blindfold on, which was some sort of imagery that I expect had a deeper meaning, but it was different. And then yeah, when he went into the second song, this was like the moment for me where I was like, okay, I get this. Like this guy is on another level. This guy's like the Justin Timberlake of this band to me. I think it wasn't an accident that he went last on the solos. Like he really started. It was mostly rapping, right?
Oh yeah, he is a rapper, but he, sings as well.
Yeah, but this song was like almost all rapping, but it was like hella aggressive, and he was moving all around the stage. It was like, yeah, it was impressive.
Yeah, that is his sweet style. Is some really, really powerful rapping. And I think I said to you before the concert that he was going to be the one that when you came out of it, you were going to remember the most, and he was going to stand out for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was an easy call. Now that I saw it, you were 100% right.
But yeah, so Voices hasn't been released. We don't know if it ever is. I really hope it is sometime, because there's another, he's done a duet before with Kihun, the other rapper, Sambakcha. I can't say this right, but and that's an incredible song, and basically the fans have been begging ever since they've performed it to release it, and they haven't. So I'm worried that it's gonna end up lost on his hard drive somewhere, but hopefully one day we'll get it too.
Do you have anything before the last three bangers of this concert? after this, I remember after this point, I feel like there was a few more songs before they got to like the quote unquote last songs of the concert, and then I definitely remember like spacing out and missing half of one or two of the songs before the end, because I don't know. It was like such a high at the Joe Honey part, and then I just wasn't as focused after that, or I was just getting really, really tired.
Well, yeah, it had been a long day, and they had gone hard up to this point, so that's forgivable. Yeah.
Oh, but you wanted to talk about the main singer, or the highly rated singer guy.
After the solo stages, they did another VCR, and I think this is actually the Avengers one I've been talking about the whole time. Because before each solo stage, they did the solo VCR, right? And then this kind of compiled bits from each of their videos together. So it was like they were coming together and assembling as a team, and it was very dramatic.
Yeah. This was the best like hype video, I think, of the night. They montaged the previous solo 5 together, and then made like an Avengers assemble moment out of it. It was pretty cool.
Sometimes for me though, it seems a little silly when it's really over the top and like badass, because like I've seen them be complete like goofballs and just like fluffy cute boys. So like the contrast is silly to me sometimes.
Yeah. No, I'm here for the ridiculous.
And then, so they did 2 more songs, and then they came out to talk for a bit again, where they each went through and talked about their solo stages and what it meant to them. And when they got to Kihun's, he was talking about how, he has 2 other songs on his solo album, and he was like, does anyone want to hear either of those? I'll sing it for you now. And like everyone was shouting, and it seemed like he couldn't hear.
Yeah, I remember this actually.
Yeah,
he said Voyager and some other song that I don't remember. Yeah, one of them was Voyager, which you were talking about, and then it was like everybody in the crowd that I could hear was like screaming Voyager, and I was like really worried that he was not going to be able to pick up which one they were saying, and he was going to like get it wrong. But then one of the other, but then the bit which I expected was like one of the other boys was like, I think they're saying both. Mm-hmm. But like they were not saying both. It was just like clean sweep for Voyager.
It's
And
a
then he just
great
only,
song.
but then he actually only sang Voyager, which I was surprised. Like, it
Yeah.
seemed like an easy bit, just be like, oh, I'll sing both, even though I like acting like I'm only gonna do one of them.
Yeah. I mean, I was impressed with his restraint. He, like I said, he's one of the best voices in K-pop, and he likes to show that off, deservedly so. And so he just sang a bit of the chorus a cappella and then restrained himself from doing any more. And yeah, then there was one more song they did Love, which is their newest title track. And then we got the little speech about how it's time to go and there's only one more song.
Yeah, and everybody knew this was not the case.
I mean, everybody sort of made a sad sound anyway. but yeah, they just went on and put out banger after banger for a while.
Yeah, I would have not, unless you had told me, I would not have realized that it was like a ruse. Like we know we're doing an encore because you're all here to see us and you're gonna ask for one. Um, but yeah, the three songs they played as the quote unquote last song were all like, yeah, bangers. They were like the bread and butter of the group. And I assume, I don't know, but they were like, everybody like really started jumping to at least one of the songs in particular, like jumping and dancing like more than any other song up to that point.
Yeah, I have a theory about K-pop, which is that there are two kinds of songs. There are love songs and there are flex songs. And then there are flexy love songs. And Monsta X lives a lot in that flexy love song zone. But these three songs are just full on flex songs. And they were proving to everyone how they are, in fact, the best. And the one that everybody was really jumping to is Fallen, which they have performed in previous concerts that I've seen videos of. And they normally go around with like a water guns or just even their bottles of water, just dumping water on each other. And the chorus like repeats over and over and over again. And they just play around and have a lot of fun. And I was really happy that they got to do that, even though there wasn't quite as much water as I've seen online. And that's probably because of the venue, is not exactly up for that.
Yeah, they just dumped like each of them got like a bottle of water dumped on them, which seemed pretty intense to me, but I guess it wasn't that intense.
Oh no. Compared to past videos, it's like water bottle upon water bottle. It just goes. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then they came out and they did their little speeches, their goodbye speeches of, yeah, we're really leaving this time. They each, took a turn, as is standard in their concerts, to just, go over how happy they were to be there. They haven't gotten to tour in a long time. And then they did their sweet, sweet fan love song at the end and waved goodbye and exited through the middle panel.
Oh, but wait, during these goodbye, I think this is when this happened. There was the only professional mistake that I remember.
Oh, yeah?
Which was earlier in the concert, there was like a part where they were like, can you hear us like second level? Because I guess like most of the concert they're like implying that they're mostly like engaging with the first level. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then they were like, can you hear us second level? And then the second level changed. They're like, can you hear us third floor? And then the third floor cheered. And then can you hear us fourth floor? And the third floor cheered. But then at the end, they did a very similar thing where he was like, I want to say he was like, we love you. And he was like, we love you second floor. We love you third floor. And then he just forgot about the fourth floor entirely. So the fourth floor people might be pissed. I'm not sure, but probably not, considering the kind of people I saw there.
Yeah, I'm sure they will forgive him. I don't even remember who it was that did that. So then, yeah, they went back through the parted screen, and then we kind of waited around for an hour because I got those fancy VIP tickets. So can you, I don't know, explain what you thought was going to happen next, I guess? Like, this part I feel like might have given you the most stress.
Yeah, this is what I was worried about the most, probably, because I feel like it's awkward to be like going to a thing where you're supposed to be like a super fan of something, but then what that in itself is fine if you're not actually super fan, but then if you're actually going to go meet the people you're supposed to be a fans of, like that's weird. So I was imagining that this was like we were going to be like on some sort of barricade, and for some reason I didn't put together that we're in like the middle of New York City, so it wasn't going to be like an outside venue like that you would be like if it was like a sports stadium that had like a big parking lot or something.
Right.
So I thought there'd be like a barrier, and I thought like they were gonna walk by us and give us like high fives essentially.
Right.
But in retrospect, like that was obviously not going to be the case because we're in the middle. Like you could not just like walk outside in New York City, or like we could, but they couldn't. You know.
Yeah. And there were too many people to like line up on the street anyway. It would have been a mess. But yeah, we spent an hour with them just like organizing people on sides of the venue or inside the theater, and waiting for the boys to get ready. And I think it's probably best if you tell your version of this story first.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this was hella interesting. So we were talking about like the blue, purple, white wristbands, but like we don't know what the white was, but the blue wristband people were kind of like gathered up first, and they were brought to like the back left corner of the first level seating near the lobby.
Right.
And we didn't know what that meant. And a lot of the purple people were like freaking out. They were like wait, what about us? We're the purple people. And then but then eventually the like they didn't use like the intercom system to like explain everything for some reason.
Yeah, that seemed like a mistake.
Yeah, so they just like kind of had confused. The main woman was like going around and trying to like shout to like the few rows that could hear her each time. So that must have been a pain for her. And then they had some of the other ushers were like trying to communicate it as well. It wasn't overly complicated, but I can see how it could get hectic. But basically they just like brought all the purple people to like the opposite side from the blue people. And then they just started like making us go like single file back to the lobby. Oh wait, before that, so like if you're facing the stage after like an hour or so, you could actually see the boys like come up the ramp on like the far right hand side towards the lobby, which was, I guess they made sure nobody was there.
I didn't see it at first. I just heard screaming and then spun around until I found them.
Oh, and I noticed they like didn't change whatever outfit they were. Like they had an hour. I thought like they would maybe like rinse off and like have a full new change of clothes, but they were actually just wearing what they were wearing in the goodbye, which I was kind of surprised. Although it's probably like more, they could have like took a rinse off and put on the same clothes again. Who knows? Yeah. But yeah, they just like wrapped around to the lobby, and then you were the first to see that like, oh, like people in the lobby are actually like starting waving. Like we couldn't see them, but you figured out that they're like, oh, they're just like right in the lobby. So we were not going outside of the venue. So the people with purple wristbands started like going single file on the opposite side of the blue people. And then when we got up there was like more instructions about like, they were like, do not stop, do not touch the glass, like do not use your cameras or something. And we were like, there's going to be glass.
Yeah, they had not renamed this from a high touch event to a wave at them in an aquarium event or whatever you want to call it. So that was the first we heard of that. It was surprising, but not, it makes sense. Like I want the boys to not be sick. So yes, put them behind some glass.
Yeah. It's a spiritual touch.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you want me to explain? I should.
Yeah, I need you to go through your
you want me to go through
story.
my experience with this?
Yeah, your experience.
So this is like what I was nervous about, but because we had discussed like our whole discussion of strategy for this was only like, oh, should we do a high five or a fist bump?
Which was like, we established you should do a fist bump and I should do a high five.
Yeah, that seemed like the way to go. But then, like 10 seconds before we're about to see these boys, they were like, "And don't touch the glass." And we were like, "Oh shit!" So I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna do like an awkward wave or something. Like I'm not cool
Hmm.
enough to figure this out in 10 seconds. But then when the process started, Sarah went before me and I went second, but I'll explain my experience
Oh
first.
yeah.
The I really like evolved in coolness with each boy. And I if this was like Pokemon, I went from like a Charmander to a Charizard like in 6 seconds with this. So basically the first guy was Jew Honey, the
Hmm.
coolest of the cool. And I was like, I guess I started doing like a weird wave, but then as soon as he saw me, he did like this like stiff arm like wave with like a heads up knob, which
Yeah,
is
he
like being
transformed
like,
from a cutesy wave at me to like the manly greeting to you.
yeah. So he did like the what's up like kind of like thing. And then I was like, thankfully I was like able to react fast enough and be like, damn, that was cool. And then I proceeded to do that the rest of the way. So
Hmm.
I instantly went from Charmander to Charmeleon. Like on Jew Honey evolved me instantly. So I did the what's up to the next two
Hmm.
boys. And then the
Yeah.
fourth boy took it to another level and was like he did the what's up followed up with a thumbs up. And I was like, damn, that's even cooler. So I evolved immediately after that into a Charizard. And then the last guy, I did the whole package. I did the what's up into a thumbs up with him. And
I'm so happy for you.
he might have only hit me with a thumbs up too, so I might have like outranked him by the end of the
Oh,
whole thing.
oh, so you're saying you were
I
cooler
don't know
than Kihun.
who was it at the end.
Kihun, the main singer.
The main singer. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I beat him in the end. He was the final. It was the the elite four. I beat him in the end.
Yeah, I'm so very happy for your wonderful experience you had at this high touch event.
Oh, okay. Well,
It
how was
was
your experience, Sarah? What happened when you got to
uh,
wave to the boys?
so first up, well, I have to explain just how weird it is, like looking at them through this glass. Like they made
Yeah,
it seem surreal. Just like I think seeing them in person was gonna be surreal anyway, but like behind glass just made it extra weird.
yeah. They were all
But
like evenly spaced in a way that like made them feel like they were each in their individual pods.
yeah, just like little
Um,
boxes.
Yeah, like yeah, they give it in the cages for
Yeah.
like in like I don't know, like an exotic dance place or something. It was weird. It was definitely weird.
So I go around this curtain that is separating you, so you can't get too much of a view of the boys before it's your turn or whatever, I guess. And first up is Juhan, and he's doing a cutesy little wave. He's got both hands up next to his head. He makes eye contact with me. It's sweet. It's nice. It's great. Next is Hyungwon, and I'm like, oh, it's that real face right there. Oh, and he looks at my eyes and he waves. Next is Chen Kyun, and the girl in front of me had a mask on that had like LEDs in it that spelled out his name, so he got real distracted. But then he made a point to be like, "Done with that, looking at you." And he looked me right in the eyes and was like, "Hey, what's up?" And next is Minhyuk, my dear sweet favorite boy Minhyuk, who saw the girl in the LED mask and then instantly saw you and was completely distracted by the fact that you're a tall man, I guess, and needed to evolve you into a Charizard. Um, Completely missed me. The boy did not see me at all. Devastated. The only person I needed to look at me. And he just had to look at you and your tall man ass. It was
Oh my
ridiculous.
god.
And then I think Kihun happened after that. I was a little flustered at that point and defeated, and just it's the worst.
Yeah, I felt so good. Like I was so like if I was nervous at all, like that's what I was nervous for. And then I was like, damn, I feel real nice after this 6 seconds of whatever this was. And then we immediately get past them so they like can't see us anymore. And you just turn around and be like, he did it. Look at me. Oh my God. And I was like, wait, what
No, I
happened?
was like, he looked at you.
He looked, oh yeah, he looked at me. Yeah. I was like, wait, what happened? That was great. That was great for me. What happened to you?
One day I'll forgive you. One day.
You'll have
Oh,
redemption though.
I
In
hope
a week.
so.
In a week, you'll hope
Yeah.
you can't go over two, so you got to come up with a way to like really make sure he knows you exist.
I just don't. There's not like I don't want to stand out. And like you said, like it's kind of a whole bunch of clones of me. I guess I just have to find the least interesting people. It just like go right in between them, the most mundane folks. So that way at least they just don't get distracted.
Yeah. I guess. I don't know. I can't imagine like that they missed that many people. So I think like previously we said like this is a sports game where you're guaranteed to win. You're like the only one that lost.
I am the only one who lost. Devastating. No. Next week, I will look at his face and he will see my face. Or at least the part of my face that is not covered with a mask.
Yeah, good luck.
I don't know why it's so important to me. Like, I didn't think it would matter, and yet I was denied it, and now it's the only thing I need in life. It's ridiculous. This is what these people have done to me.
Yeah. Maybe the second professional mistake they made up to that. Yeah,
no,
I don't
it's
know.
not his fault. It's your fault.
It's my fault.
He's perfect. It's your fault.
Sure.
So then, after the single most disappointing moment of my life, we were corralled around to sit back in some seats next to the blue people for the farewell event.
Yeah, next to as in like, the section over from them.
Yeah.
They got, so what is this called? The buy event? These things are like right back to back. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like the farewell event or something.
And we were towards the end of the purple people, so there was not much time between us doing the waves and then them leaving after everybody was done.
Right.
But it was kind of interesting. It was like super simplistic. It was just like they're leaving the wave event or the high touch event and they're walking back to the backstage, except they're going to pass where the blue people are.
They went down the aisle over from us, so like we couldn't see anything.
So the purple people really didn't get much of the buy event.
Yeah.
But I mean the wave, the high touch is cooler than the goodbye. So
yeah.
But there was like a younger girl next to me who was like, what about us when they left, when they were going by, because she was too short to even like see them leave, but she knew they were leaving because all the blue people were going like, ah.
It's okay. I found a fan cam of it on Twitter later, so I got to experience it that way. It was fine. And
that was it. It was really, I think that would be better. I'm sure the, that extra stuff at the end was still good for the people that came. But I'm sure it's normally better in not COVID times.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, actually, if Minhyuk had to give me a high five, he wouldn't have missed me. He would have had to have looked at me.
Yeah, you would think. Yeah. I thought it was great though. I felt better about myself when I was done.
I am very happy for you. I will recover. Next week will be better.
Oh, man. Incredible.
So, yeah, to sum up, how was your first, maybe only Monsta X concert? Would you ever go to something like this again?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I wouldn't pay for it or necessarily go out of my way for it again. But if it was like super convenient and cheap, and I was just looking for like to be part of like a loud place with a bunch of people, which I guess I could feel like that sometimes. Yeah, I thought it was enjoyable. It would be better if I didn't. The only really bad part of the experience was like being self-conscious about blocking people's view. Yeah,
which I don't know how you get around that one.
Yeah, it depends on the venue. You have to like specifically get aisle seats or try to like strategically get. I was thinking if we would have had to be further back a little bit, but the 5 cameras were in like the middle of the first floor section.
Oh yeah, if we'd been.
I guess if we had been like the last row before the cameras, I would have been like free to do whatever the hell I wanted.
No, you're moving in the wrong direction. I'm only moving forward with seats from now on.
Yeah. Well, if we were in the freaking orchestra pit, I wouldn't have had a problem either. Did the orchestra pit people stand up? I don't think so.
They must have. There's no way they are you gonna stay seated during, all of those bangers? No way.
Yeah, you're right. I guess I just couldn't see them. Like they'd be able to like touch the stage. I guess that's normal. I guess that's normal for a concert. I don't know.
Yeah. I think there's a little gap though. There's definitely like some security guards that I saw down there, like to
Yeah.
keep people from doing anything crazy.
I guess they just wouldn't come to the edge of the stage.
Yeah. Except these boys totally will. All right, so I guess that's enough talk about the Monsta X concert. This was originally supposed to be a little bit after the end of our next heart signal episode, but it got a little long, so it's probably not gonna work out that way. But thanks for listening. Next time we will get back to heart signal, episode 4, I think. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Oof.